Hello students, a very good morning. Today we will study Wole Soyinka's poem Telephone Conversation. Wole Soyinka's poetry has often been described as a powerful and serious agent of social change. His themes are primarily concerned with the promotion of human rights and African politics. At the same time, such poems as Telephone Conversation reveal a lyrical understanding of the rhythm and resonance of language balanced with humor and deeply felt compassion for the human condition. Out of Soinka's large body of work, Telephone Conversation is one of his most well-known and most anthologized poems. This poem was appeared in his collection Modern Poetry from Africa. The poem is provocating interrogation of a racial prejudice, misguided passivity, and power of language to create ghettos of race and spirit, negotiating elements between the subtleties of irony and social criticism of sarcasm. Telephone conversation always maintain a thoughtful distance from emotion minefield and of its subject matter, transforming itself into a poem that sets aside anger and frustration in favor of humor as a means to achieve a deeper understanding and the spirit of interrogation and harmony. So, this was the background of the poem, and we are going to now we are going to study text of the poem. Okay, this poem seems to be a conversation between a landlady and a person who wants to take the room. So, telephone conversation is exactly what it tells promises an imagined conversation between an African man and a presumably white landlady with accommodation to rent. Some of the idioms of the poem mark the general geography of the poem as England, most likely London. That city saw a subtitle influx of African immigrants throughout the post-war decades, a period that also saw a rise of racism between racial tension in the country, so as the conversation uh, would have been familiar, unfamiliar. The poem. Now I'm going to read out the poem. The price seemed reasonable, location indifferent. The landlady swore she would off premise. Nothing remained but self-confession. Madam, I warned. I had wasted journey. I am African. So, in the very beginning, what he has told us, uh, the price is reasonable, location is also very good, and landlady has also cleared his intention that she will remain optimized. Nothing remained but self confession. He told, Madam, I had wasted journey. I am African. So the poem opens with an African speaker clarifying the essential information about the location, the cost, and the similar business detail. The landlady is initially described as being good breeding, a standing that makes her question about the color of speaker's skin. So he told clearly that, Madam, I am an African man who is talking on the phone. Then silence. The word is very important. Silence transmission of precise good breathing voice when it came, lipstick coated, long gold rod, cigarette holder pipe, coat I was howling. So these lines tells us that the landlady is initially described as being a high class lady, a good breeding, a standing that makes her question about the color of speaker's skin seem suddenly and dramatically out of place. Specifically, she wants to know if it is what kind of person is. So that is silence. Okay. Then come to the third stanza of this poem. And now how dark when the speaker told that I'm an African, I'm a dark person. So she asked, how dark? I had not misheard. Are you light or very dark? Button B, button A. Stretch of rancid breath of public hide and speak red booth. red pillar box, red double-tired onions, scratching car. Now look from this point, and it is clearly prejudiced question. The poem moves smoothly between the thoughts of speaker as he considered his question as a political statement and the landlady's insist repetition of the same question of various thereof. As the conversation unfolds, it becomes a painful accumulation of the ironic communication and the blatant racism. The more the speaker tries to answer the question, the deeper uh, comes out the meaning. She asked, "How dark?" Oh, this is a limit. How dark a man can be if he has already told that he is a dark person. So, next one is it was real, shamed by ill-mannered silence, surrender, pushed, dumbfounded of vague simplification, considerate she was, varying the emphasis. Are you dark or very light? Revelation come. So here at this point, the more the speaker tries to answer the question, the deeper is the accent slips into the irony as the speaker answered the woman with cool logic that uh, clouds rather than clarify the situation. At first, comparing himself to chocolate, he tries the lady. He she tries to ask him, "Are you dark or very light? What kind of darkness there is?" She just want to ask this question. Then come to the next lines. You mean like plain or milk chocolate? Her accent was clinical, crisp in its light, impersonality, rapidly wavelength adjusted. I choose West African sepia and as afterthought down in my password. So now at first comparing himself, he tried to compare himself with a chocolate. For instance, the speaker settles on describing himself as West African sepia, a term he knows will further confuse, uh, will further remove the confusion of the listener, confusion of that confusion that maybe he clear his position totally that he is from West African sepia. I mean, he is very black. Now, silence for spectroscopy, flight of fancy, thought truthful claimed her accent, hard on mouthpiece. What's that? Conceding, don't know what that is like brunity. That's dark, isn't it? Not altogether. Now the conversation goes between the landlady and the uh, person, and silence comes. And when he tells that he is as dark as African sepia, then she asks, "What is that?" And he said, "Don't you know what is that? Like brunette, like a very dark. That's dark, isn't altogether." And she again asked. So, as the speaker, ironic tones struck hold of the conversation that begin to describe various body parts. Uh, in the next few lines, we will see. Finally, I am brunette, but madam, you should the see rest of me. Palm of my hand, sole of my feet are a peroxide blonde. Friction caused, foolishly, madam, by sitting down has turned my bottom raven black. One moment, madam. Sensing her shiver rearing on the thunderclap about my ears, madam, I plead, won't you rather see for yourself? As the speaker ironically talks about his, he begins to describe various parts of his body, from his hair to sole of his feet, in an effort to explain to her that he is like the people of several different colors. The final lines of the poem carries a double-edged message. The first is clear, making a judgment about a person's character based solely on the color of their skin is the key absurdity of racial prejudice. The second layer of the closing line under, underscore the meeting of absurdity with additional absurdity and approach. Soinka often brings his exploration of such situations as the speaker invites the woman to see for herself all the varied color of the body parts he catalogized as he say. So the various themes are working in the poem. Racial conflict, this monologue, telephone conversation with a person of color respond to the racial prejudice of a whole generation. And the second, a very satirical poem this. So I think all of you have got the idea. Thank you. We will meet in the next of our season. Thank you.